Hey everybody, it's Norris with the Norris Group, and this is going to be a little bit of tech session where we get to interview somebody moving and shaking in the tech space for real estate investors, and I guess real estate at large. And this is the first segment we've done of this sort, and the very first person we have on the segment is John Bodrozic. He's with HomeZada, and he's got a really interesting software he and his team put together, and one that I've actually been fantasizing about for years, literally, because of keeping track of rentals of a lot of stuff inside homes. And I ran across a press release that your team put out probably a couple weeks ago and was really excited to learn more and to sort of see the back end. So welcome, John.
Thank you very much, Aaron, and you did a fantastic job pronouncing the name, so it's all good.
Well, thanks. So share with us a little bit how you got even into the space of real estate.
Sure. My background prior to HomeZada was I was in another startup in the commercial construction space. We built project management software for large commercial facilities, selling to Fortune 500 government engineering construction companies, and did that for about 15 years. And it was there that we kind of said, well, we can manage construction of a billion-dollar casino in Vegas, but we can't even manage our own homes online. And that was sort of the inspiration by one of the founders to sort of start HomeZada.
That's awesome. So how long has your team been together building HomeZada?
We are in our third year in the marketplace in terms of being out in the marketplace. The first year we spent sort of developing the first versions of it.
Very cool. Well, let's dig in. Go for it. Give us an introduction, and then we'll get to see a demo of how this thing works.
Absolutely. So kind of walk you through a few slides, and then we'll do some live demo. So really what HomeZada's goal is really trying to do is help people with what we refer to as the homeowner life cycle. And really, if you look at the screen, if you think about a home from a consumer perspective, most people live in their homes probably about on average 6 to 9 years, and during that time they need to manage that asset. So we basically 2 years ago created a cloud-based tool for consumers to manage all their home assets, pictures of everything they own for insurance purposes, home maintenance schedules that are automatically created, templates to manage home remodels, and then kind of a dashboard of finances. And so recently what we just released, and probably what you read, Aaron, was the next part of that piece was obviously at some point in time people sell those homes, and we wanted to say, hey, could we actually share some of that rich digital data to help market the home? And then obviously buyers buy the home, and today most people when they buy a home they inherit no sort of digital history about the home, and so we basically said let's give them a copy of that. And then at the same time we also realized we needed to develop a professional version for real estate agents, real estate investors, anybody who's sort of doing single-family homes on a professional basis. And so clearly the real estate industry gets involved where they're obviously trying to win the listing, trying to get leads, and ultimately sell the property. A few more slides from an agent perspective. Clearly some agents are competing to win listings, so how can they differentiate their listing presentation? They're always trying to engage buyers in today's internet world. And then a lot of times agents have a challenge, sort of how do they keep their reputation and brand after the sale in terms of being relevant during that 6 to 9 year period when people are living in their homes. And where we position HomeZada, for at least for the real estate agent, is when you think about buying a home, you've got this 5-step process of a discovery, home evaluation, offering, escrow, and closing. And really, HomeZada is not really trying to be a search portal. There are plenty of those that do that great. What we're really trying to do from a listing agent perspective is give them the ability to share unlimited data about the house to really help prospects when they're sort of narrowing down the 5 to 7 houses that they're really going to consider, and being able to provide that data. And then at the end, when the house closes, can the buyer's agent essentially provide a closing gift that allows the consumer to manage the information moving forward. The 3 pieces to the solution, we talked about HomeZada Professional, and that's essentially where a real estate agent or the real estate agent can come online and create as many properties as they need to. The agent would create properties for their clients. The real estate investor, if they've got 5, 10, 15, 20 properties, it really doesn't matter. You can track as many as you'd like in the system. If you're going to use the sort of Zada listings piece, which is the piece that allows you to share this unlimited data when you're selling the home, that's the other piece. And then clearly there's the consumer piece, which is for the real estate agent who's providing this as a gift. They get their branding inside the application so that when the homeowner's using the tool, they get that branding in there. And here's kind of a visual over how it works. sort of the three legs of the stool. In the upper left-hand corner is kind of the consumer version. The green blob circle in the middle is kind of the professional version. And then you've got the light blue circle in the upper right is the public HomeZada listings. And this is how it essentially works for either buyers, agents, or listing agents. So with that, I'm going to switch screens and actually kind of give you a little bit of a demo.
Excellent.
Let's go to there. Can you see this screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the professional version, and this particular sample is set up for a real estate agent, but after I go through this, I can actually talk through how a real estate investor would use the same tool. So when they first create an account, obviously for a real estate agent's perspective, their branding is going to be important, so they want to create their profile here by uploading their photo and broker logo and contact information. But then the key area of the tool over here is when you go to properties. And again, this is a sample where you've got an agent who's got essentially lots of different properties that have been created for various different customers. And so if I go to an example of, like, for instance, a buyer's agent, they could come in here and click on this new property button up here, and it's going to walk them through a two-step process that basically puts in the address of the property, and then they'll basically create a property, and then essentially they'll come to this particular screen where if they go in and for instance, edit the property, they can come in here and essentially upload multiple photos of the property. Let's see, that was probably a bad example. Let me pick a different one. Sorry, my sample database there. Let's go to this one, where essentially they can come in and upload multiple photos. Man. I apologize, Aaron. I was trying to find a property that has good data. Let me go to this one here.
Don't you love that?
Problem with sample data. Here you go. Here you go. So essentially you can upload multiple documents about the house. So oftentimes we know that the buyer's agent has gotten lots of PDFs as it relates to the overall property. And then essentially all they have to do is hit this transfer to customer button, enter in their buyer's email address, and then they'll essentially create a digital copy of this for the consumer.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, absolutely.
So when you transfer that, is the realtor paying sort of like an annual fee to keep that going, and it's forever available as long as the realtor is paying so the consumer can have access to that?
For the buyer's agent, it's a $50 fee as a one-time fee. And that gives the consumer the premium version for free for a year and the branding agent for the agent for a year. And then in subsequent years, the real estate agent can pay $5 per client per year to maintain their brand.
That is a super creative way to keep your foot in the door about, you can do baskets, at closing and stuff like that, but I just thought that was a really cool way for realtors to keep their foot in the door at a very low cost. So when, in California especially, there's such a strong move-up market, I don't know if the average here is less than around the country, but to be able to sort of remarket to that person at least once a year, being able to send a letter saying, hey, we've extended it, enjoy on us, if you're thinking about selling, let us know. That's so awesome. What a great idea.
Yeah, and I switched. Hopefully you can see this. This is what the consumer actually gets. So they'll basically get an account, and in the upper right-hand corner you can see that the agent's branding is shown there. We kind of give the consumer kind of a news feed over here about different recommendations over what they need to do to maintain and manage their house. But then quickly, now the consumer can use this to sort of take photos of everything in their home for insurance purposes. So, we know that they need to have all their documentation for insurance in case something happened to their house. They can come here and basically upload as many photos as they want as it relates to their items in the house. The other thing that the tool does, which is really cool, which is we automatically create a maintenance calendar for them that's going to remind them every month of all the things that they need to do from a maintenance perspective. And that's going to automatically set up a drip campaign that the agent's branding is going to be displayed on as well. And now that client can actually manage their home improvement projects as well. So we've got a series of templates for them to be able to create projects to manage their kitchen remodels, keep track of all those documents. It's a really great sort of tool there.
Once the consumer gets that file, is the realtor on the other end being able to see everything that's being uploaded?
They can see that they created, that they accepted the gift, and they know when the gift is going to expire, but we have to sort of protect the consumer's data so that they can't actually see the details of it.
Got it. So if they really wanted to, they can send air filters as gifts once a quarter, but they can't tell that you bought a new kitchen table and it's going to send you silverware. Okay.
That's correct. There's a fine line there between protecting consumers' privacy, but yet giving agents a better tool to stay engaged.
Very cool. Good to know.
So back on the professional version, now I wanted to go back to this sort of sample, and you've kind of already sort of seen it, but let's say you were the listing agent. You could then come in and do essentially the same thing because the interface is going to be remarkably similar. Whereas the listing agent, if you wanted to take photos of every single room in the house and you wanted to take close-up photos of all the sort of features in the house, sort of the interior appliances, finishes, flooring, etc., you can essentially create all these documents and photos about the house. And then basically you go to this menu here that says for sale. And then you come down here and you basically come to this little link right here, where you basically publish the ZADA listing. And then essentially what that does, I'm going to change my tab here, is now on our public website, we're going to basically display all of that information as a way to uniquely market the home. So you can see here, not too dissimilar to other sites where you can obviously see a flat gallery of multiple photos of the house. We always show the listing agent and a contact form on the right, but really the unique aspects of the platform is shown down below here, where you can see we're giving the user a room-by-room tour instead of showing those rooms in kind of a typical flat gallery. And those little icons on top of the photo are telling you how many additional photos that the user can actually see inside that particular room. Over on the right-hand side, you can also embed videos. You can share any PDF or document or any document that you think is going to help market the home online. And then really, I think we know that consumers love photos. If you drill into sort of the kitchen as an example, not only can you see one angle of the kitchen, but you can see as many angles of the kitchen as you uploaded. But now as I scroll down, now you can start to see I'm taking close-up photos of the really cool tile backsplash. They've got some new base cabinets. They've got some appliances, some cool countertops. Essentially, if you think about the interior and exterior features of a home, the agent can pick and choose how many photos they actually want to highlight about that home online.
I think one of the reasons that I like this approach is that a lot of real estate investors take it upon themselves to do the listing, and this is a great way to do that without, if they decided to go outside of the MLS and wanted to list it on their own. And Craigslist, for example, is a very popular route to advertise properties. But a second advantage of doing something like this is doing a walkthrough before the house is rented out.
Yes.
And being able to take detailed photos, which basically becomes a history. So, 5 years down the line and the renter has maybe destroyed some properties, you've got proof that you've very carefully documented the condition of
That's correct.
the property.
And from a real estate investor perspective, remember how we could track projects? So obviously if an investor bought a house and then did some renovations, as part of the sort of way that they can market the listing, they can actually share specifically what renovations they did. So you can see this sample has kind of a bathroom remodel. They can choose to share how much they spent on it or not. It's entirely up to them. This example is basically saying how much they spent, but they don't necessarily have to do that. And again, now you're giving the sort of the user a tour of sort of that particular remodel. You could show before and after photos if you wanted to, or you could only show sort of the nice, cool photos. But essentially, you're showing potential visitors that, yeah, you may have bought the home, 2 months ago, but you've actually invested a lot in these renovations.
Interesting. And I really like I don't know if we're ready for it yet, but the property maintenance calendar I thought was pretty good for real estate investors as well. Managing my own rentals and buying them all at different times. Last year was my year of water heater explosions, like literally within 45 days, every single water heater exploded. And so being able to carefully track sort of life cycles of specific appliances would be really helpful in suggested maintenance. I'm learning a lot about being a landlord in the last year, so I really like that feature.
Yeah, that's a good segue. I mean, it's kind of like if I go back to the HomeZada professional right now. Imagine I'm a real estate investor, and these are my 5 different homes that I own. Essentially, you're now basically using the tool to manage all the information about these homes. You're capable of going in, and like I said, when you create a property, we're automatically going to create the common maintenance items like flushing the hot water heaters, which most people don't do, all kinds of things. But you can obviously tweak these by basically customizing the maintenance calendar for each property, and then we're automatically going to create a calendar for you of all these sort of tasks. And then as an investor, you're going to get an email once a month basically reminding you what needs to get done on each one of your sort of properties. You can drill in and click on any one of these to-dos. You can then track what, if you actually had to spend some money to fix something, you can track your actual cost, your contractor. You can take photos of if something broke. It's really cool. And actually you can come in here, and I forgot to show you this. You can have a dashboard where, let's see, bad example, but I don't have any population of data, but you can basically track what you bought the house for, what it's appraised for, what the property tax is worth, how much you've spent on your projects, how much you've spent on your maintenance, and it's kind of giving you kind of a financial dashboard from an investor perspective over how much money you're spending on the house.
That is awesome. Can you share maintenance lists easily with maybe a contractor for a specific house?
You can, anything that you see on screen, you can basically create a PDF of in terms of, if you went back to sort of the maintenance aspects, you can come in here and hit a to-do list, and then you can filter the to-do list over what's due in the next period of time. If you wanted to, you can sort of create to-do lists as it relates to assigning them to different contractors. So absolutely.
Very interesting. Okay, does the platform support video at all?
You can upload video files for, like, if you wanted to do that for insurance purposes.
Okay. And
if you wanted to use the selling tool, where you could see this video over here, we embed videos that you were hosted at YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So we know that, for instance, a lot of real estate agents, they'll create like a neighborhood video or a property video. They can upload that to YouTube, and then you can embed that so it's displayed here so that the user who comes to this site gets that sort of one centralized view. And the other thing that you can do is, when you're using this from a selling perspective, that becomes a unique URL. So you can embed that URL in all of your other digital marketing strategies, so that if you were marketing this house, people end up landing on this page. And then we also have the ability to share that on various social networks as well, as another way of sort of promoting the tool.
I noticed that there was an iPhone app for this. Can you literally walk around the house and have it uploaded to, you create a house and you're able to upload the photos right from the app?
So unfortunately, the iPhone app is for the consumer version only. We're still working on sort of the professional version, but what we've found with the professionals who are using it, the tool works really good with like an iPad, just using sort of the native Safari browser and basically using an iPad to kind of go through the house, take photos and sort of upload it that way as well. So that's a different kind of use case there.
So this has to have some great ramifications for both insurance and estate planning. I think insurance is probably the easiest. You've got such well-documented proof of things like alarms and fire extinguishers. Has the response from insurance, the insurance industry, been pretty strong?
Yeah, it's actually, the response has been strong actually from consumers who candidly their neighbors may have experienced some natural disasters. And so, believe it or not, especially if you live in the part of the world where natural disasters are common, Tornado Alley, hurricane country, we get a lot of consumers signing up because basically it says 70% of homeowners don't even have a basic home inventory.
Yep.
And so, unfortunately, it's one of those things that when you have a friend of a friend who loses a house and you realize that they're suffering trying to get reimbursed, it sort of motivates people to, you know what, I'm going to go create an account and sort of upload 100 photos and at least be much better prepared than not kind of mentality.
Do you have people that are uploading those things also? I'm trying to think how to ask this question. So So you're in the family room as a consumer, and you're taking a picture of the TV. Do you have people taking a picture of like the serial number, or taking a picture of the receipt that they just purchased this new TV with, to sort of keep it on hand so they have proof of what they paid for it?
Absolutely. It's our user base kind of fits because we're in a consumer application where we have tens of thousands of consumers who've signed up already because that was launched 2 years ago. It kind of fits into the what I call the super detailed people who absolutely take photos, 3 photos of the TV, the front, the back, and the serial number. Then you've got sort of the minimalists who are sort of just going to take 1 photo of sort of all the major items, and then you got even sort of the really casual users that are just going to take sort of 2 or 3 photos at a room level and not really do any close-ups. So
Very cool.
the system can track as much as you want and as many photos and details as you want, or as little as you want, and we make it really easy because we kind of pre-populate all these rooms and maintenance checklists for you so that it's really just becomes a photo tagging exercise.
Well, it's really nice from a real estate investor perspective too. You can have the rental agreement uploaded. Is there any limit to what you can have uploaded as far as PDFs and documents on the back end?
Nope. You can upload as many as you'd like. You can basically come here to this file of docs. I mean, we've got, you could just, this list could be as long as you want. There's no limitation over what you wanted to sort of upload. On the consumer side, we have people uploading copies of their passport because they want, when they travel internationally, they don't want to carry a paper copy, so they just have it basically available to them online. But
Interesting.
mortgage documents, insurance documents, property tax, anything that's in a PDF or any sort of Excel, Word, typical photo file, whatever, you can upload that.
Excellent. Wow. That's really interesting, and it's amazing that some of these tools are available.
If you want, I can summarize with a few slides here.
Sure.
Just to kind of recap. And again, this is probably from an agent perspective. Again, on the left, we know that buyers agents typically end up giving closing gifts like plants and bottles of wine and gift cards. Problem with those is it's not very helpful to manage people's home, which is their largest asset, and it doesn't provide the client any long-term branding, and there's really not a lot of agent or broker branding. And I think the opportunity with HomeZada there is they can really sort of give their client a tool to help them manage the asset, improve their reputation as a trusted advisor, and hopefully increase referrals and repeat business. We kind of already talked about here the pricing. $50 per property is a one-time fee on the left, $5 per customer if they want to renew their branding. And then for the listing agent, again, lots of real estate sites will show you 20 photos, but it's in a flat gallery, and the features are kind of shown to you in sort of text. It'll say dishwasher, dryer, freezer, etc. And really, I think what you've seen here, we're really expanding the platform to be able to share that sort of room-by-room tour and being able to give people close-ups of those. And it's essentially the same for the listing agent on the left. It costs them $50 per property if they wanted to share that data unlimited. And at the end of the day, this is my summary slide. We're really trying to provide, at least it relates to agents, value across this whole homeowner life cycle, right? Can you help them win sellers? Can you help them engage buyers and provide value to homeowners? And then obviously I don't have a summary slide for real estate investors, but you can sort of get the same concept that you can manage all your properties online, keep track of before and after photos when renters move in and out, keep track of all your maintenance. When you decide to sell the house, you can sort of share all that data online as well.
Yeah, I just think this is so much better than, I'm very visual, so and I have a lot of stuff in Dropbox, and just a really great way to manage all this stuff. So one more time, the cost for the professional account, is it a month, an annual thing, and then it doesn't matter how many properties that you're managing? Because I think
Yes.
a lot what I'm thinking of this for is particularly real estate investors that are landlords and have a lot of rentals.
Yeah, it's $50 per property as a one-time fee.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, we've had sort of real estate investors sign up, and they have 10 houses that they're managing. Mm-hmm. So it would be 10 times 50, it would be $500, but it's a one-time fee. There's no annual fee. There's no subscription fee, and you basically use the tool as long as you'd like kind of mentality. And you can buy them as you go kind of mentality. We've got other customers who are managing 25, 30 properties, so it's entirely up to them.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been awesome, and thanks you for being my guinea pig the first time we've done a segment like this. But I think it's going to be helpful as tech is constantly changing our industry, and this is such a good example. So thanks, John.
My pleasure, Aaron. Thank you very much for having me.
And so it's HomeZada.com, and are you also on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else?
Yep, all those places, and it's HomeZada.com. Let me kind of, since you've given me the opportunity, we have 2 sign-ups, right? So you want to go to the professional and up in the top, and when you hit sign up, you want to make sure you hit professional, and then when you hit continue to sign up, it's going to take you to a form. Now, granted, I'm already logged in, but it'll take you to a form to essentially sign up.
Perfect. Okay.